Let's see, who are we going to start with today? Okay, we just gonna start from the beginning. And we may have the notifications may not go out because y'all already got notified once. I'm just trying to wait for some people to get the notification that we're live. Gizmo, what you doing, sweetheart? You look like you over there having a hard time. You okay? You okay, boo? So we're just gonna wait and see who is gonna show up. I did put on the community tab that I'm live. YouTube, I don't know what is going on with the notifications, but I know a lot of people are having problems right now getting notified that the person that they watch is live, or even getting notified that they are posting videos. So I'm not really sure what that is all about. So that's why I'm trying to come on around the same time if I'm going to go live. And if I'm not going to go live, I will post it on the community tab that I'm not coming today or whatever. So that's how we're going to um, do it for now. And hopefully that, you know, works out for people. But I'm not going to, chit chat for long. I'm going to just get started. And if people come in, they can either catch up or catch the replay. So the book that I'm using today is Power of the Orisha, Santeria, and the Worship of the Saints. And I think this is like the second or third book of his that I have, because the other book that talks about Santeria is also from this uh, same author. And I think he has a lot of books, if I'm not mistaken. He has a lot of books. So I'm pretty sure you can look this particular book up on Amazon. I'm pretty sure it's there. This where I purchased it was $9.95, but I purchased it from a Botanica. So I'm pretty sure if you look it up on Amazon, um, it is there. So we're going to get started. And if you have any questions, just put your questions in the comments. And, after I go through so much, I will, go to the comments and The name of the book is Powers of the Orishas, Santeria and the Worship of Saints by Mijin Gonzalez Whippler. I'm gonna I'll post the picture in the community tab after the video is over, and it will be in the it'll be on either the community tab or in the description box after the video is uploaded. So I have noticed that a lot of people don't know the difference between Ifa, Santeria, the Yoruba tradition, hoodoo, and voodoo. They think all of this is one religion, and it is not. And you guys really, if you're going to practice something, you need to understand that the Orisha are different from the Loa. Santeria is different from Ifa. Hoodoo is different from voodoo. Even though, you know, our people of color, let me say people of color because Hispanic people are considered in people of color, and you know some of these traditions and religions ended up in Cuba, in Puerto Rico, and so I don't want to just say black people, but people of color, because to me Hispanic people and people in Cuba, in the Caribbean, a lot of these people are people of color. Now, of course, there are some, you know, lighter skinned Spaniards and stuff, but a lot of like Cuba and stuff, most Cubans have some color. But it did stop there also. Puerto Rico, um, Cuba, other Caribbean um, areas, you know, and I'm saying that other than Haiti. You know, it was during the slave trade when slaves were being picked up and dropped off, and, you know, all of that stuff that was going on, you know, it was sprinkled around. That's how so many people ended up practicing this religion. So it's not just black people. But if you're going to do this, do it right. You know, don't half step. Learn the difference between the Loa and the Orisha. Learn the difference between hoodoo and voodoo. So when you're talking about it, you're not just clumping everybody together, or you're not calling the Orisha by Loa and vice versa, calling the Loa Orisha, because you don't know the difference. And you know, you've heard of Papa Legba, or you know, oh yeah, I heard, you know, you just throw everybody in the same pot, and that's not right. It's not correct. You're not doing it right. And if you're doing that, like if you think that voodoo and hoodoo is the same thing, and the Orisha and the Loa is the same thing, you're not going to get the right results because you don't even know what you're doing. You don't even have a clue as to what you're doing. And I don't know why it's irritating to me, but it is. That's extremely irritating to me when I see people doing that, and I know they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. If you don't know the difference between a Loa and an Orisha, then so you just out here wilding out and just making up stuff. Oh well, Papa Legba came to me in a dream, and he's this and he that, and you actually talking about Elegua. because you don't know the difference between Papa Legba and Elegua. So, and it's too much information out here. It's too many ways to get information. There's a lot of good information on Google. You don't have to buy books. You can go online, and there are a lot of reputable sites online that have accurate information. If you don't want to pay for books and you want to um you want the information but you don't want to pay for books and stuff, Google, Safari, or whatever it is for iPhone. Androids is Google. I think it's Safari. But you can still Google on an iPhone. Look for the information that you need instead of just being out here doing stuff and you're not doing it correctly. So let's get started. Santeria is an Afro-Cuban religion based in amalgamation between some of the religious beliefs and practices of the Yoruba people and those of the Catholic Church. So, Santeria is a mixture of the Yoruba tradition and Catholicism because it takes the Orisha and pairs them, each Orisha, and pairs them with a Catholic saint associated with them. This is how it is practiced in Santeria. Now, Santeria is what I was initiated into first. And the house that I was in was predominantly African American, but my godmother, she had been, um, she was crowned by someone that was from Cuba. So her godfather was from Cuba. So he practiced Santeria. That's how she ended up um, practicing, you know, the this part that has the saints attached to it. I've never been, even though I was initiated into Santeria, I've never been really interested in the Catholic saint part of it. And you don't have to. If you just want to deal with the Orishas, you just deal with the Orishas. But you have that option in Santeria to either, you know, um, honor the Orishas and the Catholic saint or just the Orisha. It depends on how your house is run, what they're doing, and what you want to do. In Cuba, where the Yerba proliferated extensively, they became known as Lukumi, a word that means friendship. And that was how it was presented to me when I first got into the religion. It was Santeria Lukumi. So the word Lukumi is means friendship. Some authorities believe that the word Lukumi is derived from Akumi, which means I am Aku, a term that describes the Yoruba in Sierra Leone. So Santeria is known in Cuba as the religion of Lukumi. That is, or the Lukumi religion. So it is a religion. But we all know that it is a religion um, honored by even the courts because at one point, um, they had to fight to be able to continue to use animal sacrifice, and under the religious guise, you can do that. So this went to the Supreme Court. It is acknowledged as a religion, just like Baptist or Catholic or anything else. This is a real religion fought at the Supreme Court in order to continue to do animal sacrifices, which is a part of the religion. So where is I? The original Yoruba language, um, interspersed with Spanish terms and corrupted through centuries of misuse and mispronunciation, also became known as Lukumi. Today, most of the Lukumi terms used in Santeria would not be recognized as Yoruba in southern Nigeria, the country of origin of the Yoruba people. So if you were to go to Nigeria, they would say things different than how we say them here. Even the way they pronounce the names of the Orisha, like they don't say Oshun like we do here in the States. Like they pronounce things totally different. Like, of course, the terms and stuff are different because they're speaking traditional Yoruba. And what we're speaking here and the terms that we're using here are like Yoruba and, some Spanish terms blended in with each other. So the language is different. There are a lot of people, instead of getting crowned here in the States, will actually get a godparent who has ties to Nigeria, and then they will go to Nigeria and get made because you get more of a authentic experience than you would here. I'm not saying that, what they're doing here is wrong, but you're gonna get more of an authentic experience if you go to Africa and have your ceremonies as opposed to having your ceremonies done here in the States. Like I have seen people who have taken videos and pictures of certain parts of the initiation in Africa, and like it's real um huts. You know what I mean? Like they're not at some five-star hotel, or like you would do here. You would probably have your initiation at someone's house, and the house would have to be big enough to accommodate everyone that needs to be at your ceremony. But if you're doing that in Africa, like the pictures and videos that I've seen, like people are actually in huts, and they go outside and there's goats and chickens and stuff running around. Like it's authentic Nigeria. Like, and don't get in here and be like, everybody don't live in I know that Africa is built up. Africa is a continent. There are cities that have beautiful houses and buildings and everything. But I'm saying in this part of Nigeria, where a lot of people that I have seen who have went to get their initiation, it has really been authentic Africa, you know. And it's interesting if you know someone that has been initiated in Africa, like look if they have pictures up. Hey Phyllis girl, look through their look through their pictures and look at their videos, because one young lady that I watched, the young lady that I said, I was gonna talk to her, because she was crowned, I think, a couple of years ago, but recently her son was crowned. I'm not sure which Orisha she was crowned to. He was crowned to, but he was crowned. She took him to Nigeria for his ceremony, and they did post. She did post like a few pictures of him, but certain things, of course, you're not able to film. They, you're not supposed to. And I did notice that, she only posts like a few things, like them going there and one or two pictures of him. Hey, Beautiful Magic, one or two pictures of him, I guess, before the ceremony, and then on their way home from Nigeria. So let me see. Santeria is a Spanish term that means a confluence of saints in their worship. These saints are, in reality, clever disguises for some of the Yoruba deities known as the Orisha. During the slave trade, the Yorubas who were brought to Cuba were forbidden the practice of their religion by their Spanish masters in order to continue their magical and religious observances observances safely. The slaves opted for the identification and disguise of the Orisha with some of the Catholic saints worshipped by the Spaniards. So, in order to not get in trouble, the slaves would have to pretend like they were worshiping the Catholic saints. So, a Catholic saint would be attached to each Orisha, and that way they wouldn't get in trouble. Or they just had to be Christian, and then, they wouldn't have to worry about anything, because they were basically doing what the slave masters were doing. And that wasn't just in Cuba. That was everywhere the slaves were dropped off. That was, basically how hoodoo and, everything was being done in Louisiana. They would do the same thing. Either the slaves would just go to the woods and try to hide what they were doing, or they would pretend like they were Catholic, and they were, that was their way of trying to stay out of trouble by using the Catholic saints. So it says, in this manner, they were able to worship their deities under the very noses of the Spaniards without danger or punishment. The same syncretic phenomenon took place in Brazil, where the new religion, thus born, became known as Candomblé and Macumba. So everywhere that, the slaves were dropped off, Brazil, um, Cuba, and all of these other places, they had to basically assimilate to the people that were there and disguise what they were doing in what the people that lived there were doing, to basically hide what they, what their practice was. We are the only people that have ever came to the U.S. and other places and were literally stripped of everything that belonged to us. Our names, our religion, our culture, everything. We are the ones that have had to assimilate to other people's culture and other people's religion, other people's beliefs, other people's beauty standards, everything. Because if you look at Asians, they have come here, they have retained their language. They Chinatown, they have retained their religion. They are Buddhists or whatever. They came here that and they stayed that. We are the only people that those things were literally beaten from us, stripped of everything that made us who, we were. Not only snatched from our home, but then brought here, renamed, religion taken from us, culture taken from us, and everything. Yeah, you go in any Chinese store, any Chinese restaurant, and Buddha is right there at the front door, right there, with offerings, incense, everything. But if we did that, if you walk into a black business and a legua meets you at the front door, that place would be blackballed. No one would go there because they would be like, oh my God, they doing something bad up in there. But you don't have a problem walking right past that Buddha to get your dry fried ribs and shrimp fried rice. You don't have a problem at all. Every Chinese restaurant that I have ever been to has had Buddha somewhere with money, because they want Buddha to bless their place. So why can't we have a legua? A legua is our Buddha. We want him to bless our place and protect us also. But not only would white people not come into your establishment, but black people wouldn't either, because of the way, you know, anything that came from black culture has been portrayed in the media, movies where they show voodoo or, you know, anything like that is portrayed in such a negative way that we're scared. We scared to touch it. Plus, we already have that. It's already been ingrained in us that if we do certain things, we going to hell anyway. So we not gonna touch it. Hey, KK, did you see my message? I said your package will be here Saturday, and if it's not there by Saturday, I'll give you the tracking information because I have it. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You don't have a problem with Buddha. Even Christians don't have a problem with Buddha. They gonna eat that Chinese food. They gonna pretend like Buddha is not even sitting there to get that Chinese food. I don't care. I don't care how many Buddhas you have. I will step over Buddha to get my shrimp fried rice. Because I just went to a Chinese place the other day. They had Buddha sitting up there, girl, had they jade Buddha, had they incense and they little oranges and all of that kind of stuff. Like it's Asian family directly across from in the house across from us. They have the lion or whatever that is sitting in their yard. It's an Asian house. When we used to live in the area that we lived in when we lived in Oakland was predominantly Asian. And you could just walk down the street and see, everybody's shoes outside. It's an Asian house when you pass by there and they got like a shoe stand and all the shoes is outside because, culturally they don't bring their shoes in the house. Um, and you see certain things on the houses. Plus, oh my God, um, Chinese New Year, it would be super loud over there because there was a lot of Asian people, and they are very serious about their culture. They are deep in their culture. We are the only people that have come to America and basically had to give up everything. Everything. I do feel like the younger people are waking up. Like the younger people don't have that fear in them that a lot of older people have. Plus, a lot of these younger people have not been brainwashed into Christianity. These kids don't go to church. They not falling for that. They don't go. So they have not been brainwashed into, believing the whole heaven and hell, the whole Christian culture. So it's easier for them to be able to hear who the Orisha are, who the Loa are, what the history of the Yoruba, what people in Africa were doing before they came here and got indoctrinated into Christianity and Pentecostal and Church God in Christ and all of that kind of stuff, because we had religion before that. We had an entire belief system before Christianity and um, Church of God in Christ and all of that kind of stuff. Like I told you guys, that um, documentary that PBS did about religion and how religion started for Black people and how religion has evolved for Black people is so good. It is one of the best documentaries on religion that I've seen in a long time. And all of our Black kids need to see that. They need to understand that all of this, Christianity started when we got here for us. This whole white, blonde haired, blue eyed Jesus started when we got here. They just were not worshiping blonde haired, blue eyed Jesus in Nigeria. They weren't doing that. And you're not going to make me believe that that was happening, because it wasn't. Now, if you want it to be happening in your world, then who am I to stop you from that? You know, if you want to hold on to blonde haired, blue eyed Jesus, go ahead. It says, throughout centuries, the practices of the Yorubas, now known as Lukumi, became very popular, and um, soon many of the Creoles, who were descendants of the Spaniards, began to practice the new religion. They became known as Santeros and Santeras, who are the priests and priestesses of Santeria. So that is the people who could pass the religion down to you, teach what they knew, and then help you to become a priest. Help you to become crowned or made, or whichever term you want to use. The saints slash orishas or Santeria are identified with natural forces as well as with human interests or endeavors. These deities have also been anthropomorphized so that each one has been imbued with intensely human characteristics that make them real to the practitioners and easy to identify. So, they gave them human traits so that it would be easy for us to connect to them, so that you wouldn't feel like they were so superhuman that you couldn't have a connection. And I think that's where, some people have a problem in religion. They feel like they're so far away from God. They even, a lot of people I know when I was, when I was ministering, a lot of people had the idea that God was so far away that he didn't hear them. Like God only heard ministers or deacons, or, if you are just a normal person, then God don't hear you. So the Orishas are not like that. Like, Alegwa, let's use Shango. Shango like to party, likes to, is a womanizer, loves women. And a lot of men connect to that. A lot of men, are, and he was handsome. He was able to draw women to him. Ocean was beautiful, you know, and not just powerful, but beautiful on top of that. So that's like, a double threat. Like you look good, can draw people into you, but then you have this other side of you. You used that um, feminine energy that a lot of women use, but they don't even understand that they're using it. They're doing it and don't really understand what they're doing, so. And then the Orishas have stories, like they have real lives here on earth. Like they've done things here, some things that they shouldn't have been doing, and some things that they should have been doing, which makes, us as people easy to relate to. I think all of the Orishas have an energy that you can relate to. When you find out who your head Orisha is, then you understand, oh, okay, that's why she picked me, or that's why he picked me. You will start to see qualities that you have in that, you know, in that Orisha. Now, it may not be every quality, but it's going to be something that draws you to them. So Kay said, or Yah energy can be relatable. I mean, I think all of the energies are relatable in a way. And like I tell people, I don't like when people only, get drawn to one Orisha and then you think that you don't have to talk to or deal with the other ones. No, you got to deal with all of them. Oshun may be your head, but I still have to deal with Oya. I still have to deal with Yemiya. I still have to deal with Shango. You know, I have to deal with all of them. So you have to understand that also. Phyllis said, right, I study the Bible and other things as well. I love learning about things. It broadens your mind. Right. And I do want to say this. You know, a lot of people have this feeling that if you okay, my husband is texting. If you if you study the Orisha, or you know, you honor the Orisha, then you can't be Christian. You know, you